Hello, my dear friends. Welcome you all to Easy Walk to English Grammar. And today we are here to deal with the transformation of direct to indirect speech, and particularly focusing on interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory sentences. Here we are going for a quick recap of what direct and indirect speeches are. Direct speech means the exact words spoken by someone. For example, she said, I'm happy. I'm happy is within the quotes, and we can hence understand those words are spoken by someone directly. When it comes to indirect speech, it means the words spoken are reported in our own words. For example, she said that she was happy. Somebody else spoke something directly and we heard those words, and if we want to tell those words to someone else, we are actually reporting the first person's speech part of his it could be part of a conversation. And what all changes we can notice here in the indirect speech? We discarded the quotes, we introduced a connective word, and um, the as it is an assertive sentence, we used the same punctuation mark, full stop. We have dealt with these things in detail in the first video of this series, Reported Speech. Please do watch that video, and the link is given in the description box below. Once again, we are going for a quick recap on rules for transforming direct to indirect speech. The first one is change the pronouns to match the subject. We'll deal with this topic in our coming videos. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel in order to get a prompt notification, and please don't forget to hit the bell icon and select the option all. The second one is shift the tense of the verb back. We have already dealt with this topic in the second video of this series. Link is provided in the description box down below. Please do watch that. The third one is change time expressions. For example, now will become then, and we'll deal with this topic too in our coming videos. And the fourth one is remove quotation marks and add that if needed. We have already dealt with the connective word and the changes in assertive sentences when they are transformed from direct to indirect speech in our first and second videos. Both the links are given in the description box down below. Please don't forget to watch them. Look, dear friends, a beautiful girl is asking us something. Are you coming with me? And if we closely observe the question, we can see that it starts with an auxiliary verb, are. If you don't know what main verbs and auxiliary verbs are, we have a wonderful video in our channel, Easy Walk to English Grammar. Link is provided down below in the description box. Coming back to our point here, this question starts with an auxiliary verb, and let's check what can we learn from her question. The question by the beautiful girl falls under the category interrogative sentences in English. And here, as the question began with an auxiliary, it once again falls into another category, yes or no questions. Yes or no questions demand either a yes or a no as their answer. Here, if we closely observe the question by the beautiful girl, are you coming? You will see it demands either a yes or a no as its answer. Now let's check how we can transform this yes or no question into its indirect form. Are you coming? Indirect. She asked if I was coming. In assertive sentences, you might have noticed the reporting verb we used were either said or told. Here the reporting verb has changed into asked because we are dealing with questions. In assertive sentences, we used the connective verb that. That has changed into if or whether in yes or no questions. We can either use if or whether as connective word in indirect speech of yes or no questions. Both are correct. So these changes occur when we transform yes or no questions into their indirect speech. All other things go in the same way as of assertive sentences. Dear friends, please do notice you may not understand grammatical rules in one sitting. Please do watch the video multiple times in order to become thorough with rules. Here comes an old man asking, "Where are you going?" We can see that his question begins with a WH word. Let's look into what happens to a question that begins with a WH word when it is transformed into its indirect speech. For WH questions, keep the question word itself as a connective word. Here in the example, we can see, "Where are you going?" Where, WH word. And when it is transformed into its indirect speech, we can see he asked where I was going. The WH word where itself remained as the connective word in the indirect speech. The only change different from yes or no question is this in the connective word. In yes or no question, we have to use if or whether as a connective word. In WH questions, we have to use the WH word itself as the connective word. Hope you understood. Oh, here is a strict teacher. Does she remind you of your classroom? What does she say? Close the door. Oh, from the strictness of her face and the tone, we can sense that it's a strict order. This kind falls under the category imperative sentences in English. Imperative sentences include orders, commands, requests, pieces of advice, etc. Now let's move on to look into how we can transform an imperative sentence into its indirect speech. For commands, requests, etc., we have to use to plus verb form. For example, she said, "Close the door." As I told you a bit before, it's an imperative sentence and it's an order. When we transform this into indirect, let's look into the changes that occur. She asked me to close the door. Asked, the reporting verb said became asked here, even though it was not an interrogative sentence, a question. Here, the sentence was not an interrogative that ends with a question mark, but it has the tone of a question. Close the door. She's asking there. Hence, we used the reporting verb asked there. Asked me to close to plus verb. Here the verb is close and we have used to close the door. Friends, if you don't know what verb is, what main verb, auxiliary verb, etc. are, you have to watch a good video in our channel, Easy Walk to English Grammar, regarding verbs. Link will be given in the description box. Coming back to our point here, when we convert imperative sentence, you have to notice to use the to plus verb form and be careful about to use the correct, accurate reporting verb. Let's move on to another example. Please help me. The old woman is requesting. Please be kind to her. At the same time, we can move on to look into how to transform her words into indirect. The old woman's words are another kind of imperative sentence and they are called requests. For request also, we have to use to plus verb form. Example, she said, please help me. When it is transformed into indirect, it becomes, she requested me to help her. What all changes can we notice here? As we dealt with in the first sentence of this category, we have to use the verb to plus verb form and to help. She requested me to help her. To help, to plus verb. And the reporting verb has become requested in the indirect form. Earlier, it was asked. Here, when the sentence has the tone of a request, we changed the reporting verb into requested. That's very important in imperative sentences, indirect speech transformation. We have to use the apt reporting verb and be careful about the to plus verb form also. The little girl is really happy today and she says, what a beautiful day. She's expressing her strong emotion that she felt for the day. This kind of expression of one's strong emotion falls under the category exclamatory sentences in English. Now let's move on to look into the transformation of direct speech in exclamatory sentence into its indirect speech. The direct speech in exclamatory sentence here is, she said, what a beautiful day. When it's transformed into its indirect speech, it became, she exclaimed with joy that it was a beautiful day. What all changes can be noticed here? Exclaimed with joy. That's a reporting verb here. In order to express the strong emotion, we have to use exclaimed as a reporting verb. And as it is a sentence expressing joy, we can use exclaimed with joy. If it was a sentence expressing sadness or sorrow, we could use exclaimed with sorrow. Hope you understood the reporting verb that we have to use in exclamatory sentences. Here you can notice the connective word once again we used is that. It's similar to the assertive sentence forms. And it's different from the interrogative and imperative form. We have used different connective words. So these two changes occur when exclamatory sentences are transformed into their indirect speech. Dear friends, let me repeat. Please do watch the video multiple times in order to learn these rules and to keep them in your memory. Here, we are moving on to the practice exercise section. Before I start to read the sentences here, friends, let me tell you, the answers for the questions in the previous video are given in the description box. Please do check them. Coming back to the sentences here, there are 4 sentences. I'll read one by one for you. You have to transform these 4 sentences into their respective indirect speech forms. A. She said, "Are you ready?" B. They said, "What are you doing?" C. He said, "Go to the market." D. They said, "What a surprise." These are the 4 sentences. Try to do them, and answers will be discussed in the next video. Now let's summarize what are things you have to do after watching this video. 1. Review the rules for transforming direct to indirect speech. You always need to review the things in order to keep them in your memory and to put into practice. Also, you need to practice with different types of sentences. Practice maketh you perfect. Third, remember the key changes. So far, we have dealt with these key changes: changes in tenses, changes in reporting verbs, changes in connective words. All other sentences will be converted into assertive sentences. Hope you have noticed it. In the second video of the series, we were dealing with assertive sentences alone, and we saw that assertive sentences were transformed into assertive sentences themselves in the indirect speech forms also. But that was not the case with other forms of sentences like interrogative, imperative, or exclamatory sentences. Interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory sentences were converted into assertive sentences, into simple statements when they were transformed into indirect speech forms. That's an important rule that you have to notice. The next one is quotation marks will be discarded. When direct speech is transformed into indirect speech, we have to take away the quotation marks that we have provided there. All other punctuation marks will become a full stop. Question mark, exclamation mark, full stop in imperative sentence. In imperative sentences, mostly we use full stop. In some cases, we'll go for exclamation mark. Anyway, all those punctuation marks will become a full stop or a period in indirect speech. You have to take care of all these rules if you want to make your indirect speech transformation perfect. Friends, do you have any questions to ask me? Feel free to ask any questions you have. Give them as comments in the comment box below. You can ask me any doubt regarding this video or any other video in the channel. I'm very happy to answer your queries. Also, feel free to give valuable suggestions that will help the improvement of the channel. Dear friends, there are many people like you who are interested in learning these rules. Please do share the video with them. And As you found the video useful, please don't hesitate to get it a thumbs up. And last but not the least, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to it so far, and hit the bell icon and select the option all. Thanks a lot for watching the video. We'll see soon with a new and useful video. Thank you.